Hey, what is up everybody? I'm Chance and we are back again for Our Life, Beginnings and Always. I'm super excited to see what's gonna happen next. Let's get into it. Alright, we're just jumping right back into this. I'm excited. I don't know, there's something about being an adult that's exciting. I don't know. I feel like we can do more stuff. As you wrapped up the last of your chores, you were approached by Liz wearing a cheeky smile. I've got Mom's keys. Want to get out of this tiny town to do some shopping in a real city? That sounds great. Good. I'm driving. That was obvious. You didn't know how to drive. You were glad for that. You still just had your learner's permit. Even though you could drive too, it was her plan. She could do it if she wanted. It was nice of her to do that. You had a license but tried to avoid driving when possible. We're gonna do this last one because I'm that way in real life, so I can drive, but I absolutely do not like it. Go get your wallet and anything else. We're going now. With a nod, you made a quick detour to collect your stuff from your bedroom. You had money saved up from gifts you'd received. That's right, because yeah, we don't have a part-time job. It's kind of funny. After making sure you both were fully prepared for the long haul to the largest city in the surrounding area, you buckled into the car. It was a smooth ride there, with light conversation about what shops to stop at and the radio blasting. Liz controlled what was played, but she made sure to pick songs she knew you liked. It was something the two of you had always done for each other. It's so true. The trip there breezed by, and in what felt like no time, you had gone from cruising down the road to cruising through the mall. Now I wonder, like, if we were a brat back to Liz, is she still like this? Like, or is she like kind of like whatever towards me at this point? I'm kind of curious to know that. Let me know down below if she's kind of less friendly, if you were less friendly with her up to this point. The trip there breezed by, and in what felt like no time, you had gone from cruising down the road to cruising through the mall. Liz had her interests to check out, and yours. And you yours. Your hobbies and skills were still the ones you developed when you were younger. You had gotten into new things since you'd grown up. I don't know, what was the skills? Sure, your hobbies and skills were still the ones you developed when you were younger. When turning a corner down a new length of the mall, your eyes caught on the little gift store. Your friends and family had recently given you many presents for graduating high school. You realized you wanted to get a graduation gift yourself to give to Cove. You had a gift of your own ready to give to Cove when the chance came. You really appreciated what you had gotten. Yeah, let's buy Cove a gift. Graduation may have already come and gone, but Cove wasn't really around then anyway. You'd keep an eye out for something good, though you might have something nice for him at home already. Okay, that's good. Eventually, the mall was explored in full, with every shop of note being checked over. Rather than going home, you decided to walk over to some smaller stores nearby. What a pretty location this is. Liz had many thoughts on that topic. Honestly, malls are not a bastion of society. Even if smaller stores require extra distance, the brands are so much more. Then your sister abruptly stopped speaking and walking right in the middle of the path. It was a good thing no one was behind her. She seemed to entirely shut off for a moment. Liz? The attempt to catch her attention was unsuccessful. Something else had all her focus. Before you could puzzle out what might be happening, she began to mumble out of the corner of her mouth. Jamie, don't draw attention, but look. Is it Jeremy? With a harsh whisper and a subtle jerk of her head, she urged you once more. Look. You followed her gaze as best you could to a large bunch of colorful teens strolling down the same path. Okay. You faced back over to your sister with a confused expression and an unspoken question. What were you supposed to be seeing there? Jamie, doesn't one of them seem familiar? Is it Shiloh? Is it Shiloh? She was practically bouncing at this point, so you looked the group over again, and this time you saw what she was seeing. It's baby Shiloh! It's Shiloh! Amongst the collection of strangers was brown hair, gray eyes, and lots of freckles. That's Shiloh, our Shiloh from when we were kids. Yep, that was definitely him. I can't believe it. He's honestly just there. That's hilarious. That's incredible. Oh, but how do we talk to him? We'd have to pull him away from all of those other people, and what if I'm wrong? Your mouth opened to reply, but she cut it off with her own answer to the question. I've got it. I'll shout the name Shiloh, and then we can act like it wasn't us. If he responds to that, we'll know without a doubt it's him. Jamie, keep an eye out to see if he looks. I've done this before. I've done this plan before. Liz, can't you just try talking to him normally? We are not doing that. It's a terrible plan. Why do I have to be the one who watches? Let's try it. Fine, you didn't even know how to react. Let's try it. Likely without even hearing what you had to say, Liz put her plan into action. Shiloh! She loudly projected the words across the way and then put on an act of casualness, turning her head away from the scene while brushing at the skirt of her dress. In a supremely awkward moment, you could only stand there as attention in the area shifted to the two of you thanks to your sister's shout. But of the many startled bystanders who became altered to your presence, one of them was the boy. From a distance, his large eyes met yours. He looked. A wide grin took over Liz's face. She pushed the rim of her sun hat up and away from her face while swishing back around to greet her old friend directly. Shiloh! Waving, she stepped a bit closer to express her intention to meet without really closing the gap. She wanted him to come to her. Who you presume to be Shiloh looked surprised at the call-out. He stole a quick glance at the crowd he was with and hesitantly glanced back your way. He was trying to double-check something. Liz remained steadfast with her gaze trained on him, and ultimately he broke away from the rest of them. After a light-footed jog across the brick path, the young man pleasantly presented himself in front of you and Liz. Hi, I like your hat. Just that simple greeting had Liz giggling. Hello, I'm not sure if you remember this, but I'm Lizzie and that's Jamie. We were all friends when we were little kids. His already wide eyes grew even larger. Their gaze darted between you and Liz. His previously chipper demeanor faded into something delicate. I'm really sorry, but I think you have the wrong person. You could tell not being instantly recognized was going to make this exchange more of a challenge. Still, Liz was undeterred. It was a long time ago. You were really young. I get why you feel like that. However, I'm positive I'm right. You're exactly the same. That face, the freckles, how do you pronounce this word?
Genial.
Genial, that's what I thought. How genially you try to phrase things. You're even still wearing a hat. Instinctively, he looked up at his headwear with creased brows, not making the connection on why the hat meant something to her. We knew each other, okay? An uneasy smile settled on him as a silence followed Liz's speech. He was picking his next words carefully, and then the quiet was obliterated by a new voice bursting into the conversation. Shiloh, what are you doing? The rest of the group already left. A field trip is not a vacation. We are on a schedule. Field trip? But it's summer. Startled, your head snapped towards the path. A distinctly unhappy... Is it not summer yet? It is summer. A distinctly unhappy individual with piercing magenta eyes. Dark brown skin. Okay. And a sharp jaw stormed your way. He carried a cloud of authority with him, despite looking like he wasn't even 18 yet. Sorry. I didn't mean to ditch. Shiloh, whose name was now officially confirmed, gestured with a hand to add to the explanation of his absence as the stranger watched impatiently. They thought they recognized me as someone they knew, but it was a tiny misunderstanding. Liz theoretically as well as literally put her foot down at that, stomping in frustration and getting more childish the longer she was around her childhood companion. We do know you. Shiloh merely shrunk in on himself. The tone he spoke with was pained. Sorry, that's sad. You honestly couldn't tell if he was apologizing for the upset feelings of your sister or the palpable dissatisfaction of his new acquaintance. That in itself was very Shiloh-like. Oh, you know him, is that it? The stranger spoke in a dismissively scoffing tone, as if the words sounded so absurd to him it was almost amusing. Almost. But the sternness of his demeanor quickly reinstated itself. Well, do you know me? I'll tell you. I'm someone who has been forced against his will to be aware of what's going on in Shiloh's ridiculous personal life for a year. If the two of you had any importance in his general day-to-day existence, it would have come up by now. Don't bother trying to exaggerate any trivial connection you might have. It's not good enough. He's with us, and you'll survive without him. Now stop loitering in the road. It's rude. Excuse me? We're the rude ones? The high-strung ranting got an audible gasp from Shiloh, who finally started to speak up again in his defense. Nate, that's really mean. It's also true. We're leaving. With that declaration, an unofficially introduced Nate indignantly spun on his heels and walked speedily towards where the group went, completely confident that Shiloh would follow behind. Oh, people can sure have bad attitudes, huh? Why can't they just try to get along? It's not hard. Don't worry though, I bet you won't have to deal with him again. And I'm sorry I can't stay to talk to you, but I hope you have a really nice life. Bye. Oh, Shiloh! Gosh darn it! And that was it. His final parting words given. Shiloh left the two of you behind to catch up with his own life that he had to go live. Liz watched his exit, stunned, only to frown when it hit her that he was really gone as quickly as he appeared. It happened so fast he hadn't even been able to get a word in. She sighed, all the energy she built up releasing with the breath. I could have told him his last name was Fields. His birthday is October 30th. That would have proved it, but no. I'm sorry, Liz. Wow, Shiloh grew up to be dumb. Jesus. You were left feeling equally deflated. Whoever Nate is, he sucks. Well, damn. You couldn't help but laugh. We're feeling equally deflated. That could have been a nice moment, and instead it was disappointing. Do you want to go catch up with him? Liz merely shook her head, pushing off childish thoughts. I think we can leave it there, thanks. He's in the middle of a high school field trip, and it was already enough being able to see him. There's something reassuring about witnessing firsthand that he's still out there, enjoying his own part of the world. That's so cute. Though, if given the chance, I could definitely have a few words with him about the company he's got. She laughed, but you could tell there wasn't much humor to it. She was mad at that guy, even if she was happy to let Shiloh go. Maybe they're only with each other because of the trip, and it's not usually how things are. True. We can only hope the same for him as he did for us. Have a nice life, Shiloh. Have a good life. Bye, Shiloh. We'll miss you. Good luck out there. You'll need it. You didn't have anything to say. We'll just say have a good life. Liz smiled at you. It had the self-confidence you knew so well from her. Come on, little baby bro. Let's finish our own trip. Yeah. No matter how either of you really felt about the occurrence, it was something you simply had to accept. People you know just disappear and reappear in the most unexpected ways. The two of you enjoyed what remained of your outing until it was time to return home. By the time you arrived back, the sun was already beginning to set. You arched your back as you stretched your arms towards the ceiling. While it had been a good day, it had enough activity to cover an entire week. Liz tried to hide a yawn behind her hands. No! You weren't the only one feeling worn out. I'll be heading up to your room, the guest room, since mine stopped being available as soon as I was out the door. Her tone was light. She'd had quite a lot to say on the subject when you'd first taken over her bigger room after she left for college, but there have been many trips back home for her since then. The room hasn't been hers for years. It was more of a running joke now that she continued to bring the topic up to this day. Let it go, Liz. I didn't see your name on it. Thank you, Liz. It's a really nice room. Thanks for being so gracious about giving it up. Just wanted to follow in my big sister's shoes. I'm sorry. Thanks for being so gracious about giving it up. I had no choice. A small laugh was shared between you and your older sister. You better believe you'll be back in the guest room when you've got your own place and we're both in town for a visit. We can take turns. You'll have Thanksgiving, I'll get Christmas. Uh-huh, sure. Don't count on it. That's alright with me, I don't need it. We'll do this one because it's cute. We can take turns. You'll have Thanksgiving, I'll get Christmas. What a reasonable and mature suggestion. I'll think about accepting it. So funny. She flashed her familiar grin, and you couldn't help but feel glad she was back around, even if it was temporary. With that, she plodded off to the spare room. You were ready to do the same. Moving into a new space was your first opportunity to decorate from scratch. Here's the design the room thing! Ah! Okay. But my question is how can Cove, go through the window anymore? I guess he could with this one? I guess he can reach it? Because that was a big thing for him. He liked the window entrance. Okay, let's lay out. Okay. Green. Purple. Yellow. What is... Oh, are these yeah, they're like rocks and stuff. So I feel like we have to go with the yellow room because there's rocks and seashells and stuff over here, I think. Okay. I guess we could always add stuff. Extras 1, extras 2. Oh my god. Y'all know I'm going to go through these. Can we get this green room with extras? No, we can't. It already has everything. Alright, so extras for this one. I think that's fine. Is that tissues? I don't know what this yellow box is. And like $2. That's perfect. And trophies. You know what? Let's see. The blue one. Extras. No, it's too basic. Purple. Extras. No. Yeah. We're going yellow with the books. Okay, even more perfect. Ooh. What do we do? Can we do... Let's do the lights and this little board here. Yeah, let's just fill up our room with everything. We're gonna fill it up with everything. What did the other rooms get? They get the same stuff. Ooh, so you can have more cool stuff like that. So everything kind of seems to be fairly similar in place. So yeah, I like this. We're gonna pretty much have everything. Should we go hard or go home? Nah, these are sports trophies, right? Or I guess they could be other trophies. Let's just check mark everything. Why not? Except for the back, because we can't do that. But and we're done. This is decorating by Jamie. You were really satisfied with the feel of your tiny part of the world. It's put as much clutter in there as possible. As your thoughts drifted, you tried to bite down another yawn. It was no good. Your bed was now lodged in your mind, and all you could think about was collapsing on it. You trudged up the stairs to your room. Stepping inside, you closed the door behind you, blocking the rest of the house. When you turned back around, you realized you were not alone there. Comfortably perched on the windowsill was someone very familiar to you. I told you! The window entrance! He can't help it. Oh, look at Cove! Holy crap! Cove Holden. The shock knocked all the words out of you. Huh? How are you here? How are you here? Like, we have to do that. Surprise? His tone was easy and relaxed. It certainly was a surprise. You hadn't expected him to be within the state, never mind your own house. He hadn't answered how he was suddenly just appeared back in Sunset Bird, though to be fair, you had been so astounded there hadn't been much of an opportunity for him to chat with you. Thankfully, Cove was only waiting for a good moment to start and began to explain. I got in about 15 minutes ago. No one was home, so I figured I'd come in the usual way. The window, of course. A small smile had formed on his face. You were still staring at him, unable to blink in case he disappeared. You could still barely believe that he was really there, mere feet away from you. I left my bags in your yard. I hope that's alright. That was when you truly understood. Cove had come straight to you upon getting back to town. You were his first port of call, taking precedence above all else. That's so sweet! Even though you hadn't been in when he called, Cove had ensured that he'd see you at the earliest opportunity rather than allowing his plans to change. You laughed, the realization made you bashful, you shook your head at his antics, you stayed frozen, the shock yet to melt away, you walked over to join him, you ran to Cove. We're gonna laugh. The delight bubbled out of you as a fit of chuckles. He could never even attempt to hide how he felt about anything, including you. Aww. Cove dropped from his seat on the windowsill, landing lightly on his feet. He made his way over to you, the smile still resting on his face. You're too crazy. I'm so glad you're here. I missed you. Trouble's back in town. I can't believe my eyes. It's the most amazing man in the world. You didn't need to say anything. You know, I kind of want to be playful, so we'll see what Trouble's back in town does. You ruffled his hair. You jovially punched him on the arm. You wrapped him in a gentle embrace. You pulled him into a bone-crushing hug. You jumped into his arms. You smiled at him. We jovially punched him on the arm. I feel like that's like our thing that we do. I don't know. We've just done it constantly, so we're gonna keep doing it and see what happens. Your fist made light contact with his upper arm as you brought your hand back down. You spotted Cove rubbing the spot you just touched. You wondered if he was even aware he was doing it. The only sign of acknowledging the action was in his cheeks, which were tinged with pink. I missed you. Even if he hadn't said it outright, you would have gotten the message from his body language. Cove was grinning widely, his raised cheeks burying his eyes, which gleamed like hidden gems. But he looked at you as if you were the most exciting treasure of all. How was the trip? Yeah, I had a great time. Cove told you about how his trip back had gone. His mom was doing really well. She had a project in the works that she was thrilled about. As a result, Cove was going to be sticking around in Sunset Bird for the time being. Things were settled, as much as they ever could be. With Cove back once more, you felt at ease. Aww. Cove stretched his arms out over his head, his eyes on the window and the world beyond. The sun had set while you'd been busy reuniting. I should probably get my stuff and see Dad. He glanced over to you with a familiar, expectant look. Want to come with me? Yes, of course. You know I do. No, but I'll walk you downstairs. Sure, I can go over for a little while. You know I do. Easy. Cool. Plus, his dad is really cool, so. Cool. He'll begin to head to your bedroom door. You followed after him. You insisted on a piggyback ride. Do we want to do a callback? Let's do a callback. Let's see if he does it again. It was a special occasion. It was just a normal thing in your relationship. Look, you still got that scar. Look at that. It was a normal thing in our relationship. Cove. He paused, turning to face you. I'm not planning on walking there. Cove shook his head, the smile on his face implying that it was you in your sense he was questioning, not the request. He'd come to expect the latter, even if he didn't get why it held such appeal for you. Okay. He crouched low enough. I feel a little bit bad about that. He crouched low enough for you to hop on his back. Cove was so tall that getting on his back for rides had taken some trial and error over the years, with a few mishaps and bumps along the way. Eventually, he figured out exactly how far he needed to bend down. This understanding in your extensive practice made it easy for you to climb aboard the Cove Express now. Cove straightened up with poise, accustomed to balancing someone over his shoulders. Cove carried you down the stairs. You had to duck down a couple of times, the ceiling grazing against your elevated head. Still, you safely reached the ground floor of your house. The door is gonna be in the way. Get off here so I can open it up. He bent down to let you slide safely off his back. Seeing things from your usual height and disorienting after getting accustomed to look down at everything. In all the excitement of Cove's return, you hadn't even remembered the gift you'd prepared for when he got back. It would be best to give it to him now, before he left your house. Can you wait here a little while? I got something for you. Cove's eyes widened as he tried to conceal a smile. He toyed with the collar of his top. Really? I mean, you didn't have to do that. You nodded with some eagerness, trying to imagine how he'd react when he actually saw it. You'd bought Cove something special. The gift you'd chosen hasn't been something you could buy. Let's do the gift you'd chosen hadn't been something you could buy. So maybe we made it or something. It was the orange shell he'd been entranced with since you were kids. A white poppy from the hill behind your house. I forget why we have that shell. I don't know, let's click it and see what happens. If not, we can mouse wheel back, because we still have one, I think, for this go. You quickly went up to your room to collect the shell, knowing exactly where to find it. It had been housed in the same box since you were a little kid, after all. Taking great care, you extracted it from the case. Though it had been a long time since you'd taken it out, the grooves were as familiar to your fingertips as the opening line of your favorite song was to your ears. Cove had admired this shell ever since he first saw it, declaring it to be the best of all your treasures. Oh, that's right. Okay. Despite that, he never accepted your offers to take it. You hoped that might change tonight. That's right, I remember. You closed your hand around the shell, not wanting Cove to see it until you were ready, and he headed downstairs. Let's see. When you were back in front of Cove, you cautiously lifted your arm up. He looked on curiously as you unfurled your fingers to show him the gift. I know you don't want to take it from me, but what I want is for you to have it. Cove stared down at the familiar shell nestled in your palm, his mouth parted, though no words came out. He drew his eyes up to meet yours silently, and found the answer to whatever question he couldn't speak. He put his hand over yours and broke the silence. Okay. It was as quiet as a whisper. His fingers were as gentle as his words, brushing against your palm as he took the shell from your grasp. He cradled it carefully against his chest and smiled at you, his eyes bright. I'll keep it forever. my heart. Oh, my heart. Cove reverently laid the gift safely on the counter, but he didn't turn back to face you once he had ensured it was secure. Though his face was angled away from you, he's tearing. Though his face was angled away from you, you caught his eyelashes fluttering as if batting away tears. His throat bobbed as he swallowed bubbling emotions. You knew that Cove could be sentimental. The gift and all the memories and feelings tied up in it seemed to have taken a toll on him. When he began to sniffle, you felt the need to reach out. Cove? Jamie. I can't. You just... Jamie, I don't know what to do. He forcefully scrubbed at his eyes like he was trying to push the tears that threatened to spill back in. Oh, Cove, it's okay. Do you need to cry? No. Nevertheless, the tears begun to spill down his cheeks. Even as he wiped them away, more took their place. Thank you. His voice quavered as he spoke. Cove scooped you into a hug, pressing you so tightly against his chest that your breath escaped in a short squeak. He burrowed his face against your neck, his shed tears damp on your skin. You hugged him back. You're welcome, don't worry about it, you're such a crybaby. You didn't need words as you quietly accepted his appreciation. I think this last one is perfect. Cove let out a steady breath. It was far removed from the shaky gasps that had accompanied his sniffles. The tears had dried. His eyes were a little red, but open and at peace once again. He smiled, fully recovered from the emotion that had overcome him. You're really, seriously too nice to me. You smiled back. I don't think there's such a thing as too nice when it comes to you. Cove brushed his hands against the pale ghost of a scar on his arm. He was at a loss for what to do now. The clock ticked away, counting the seconds of silence. Once you had a chance to settle your thoughts, you figured you'd tell Cove the intriguing news. I meant to tell you earlier, I saw Shiloh today. Shiloh? Cove repeated the name, his expression blank. What the heck? Did like a time warp happen that only Liz and I know? From when we were kids. Cove pondered for a moment, then snapped his fingers. Oh, he was the freckly boy from that first summer, right? The one who moved? Oh, that's true. He only did know him for a summer. I met a guy named Shiloh. He looked just like Shiloh we knew, plus however many years. But he didn't remember me and just left. Cove frowned. That's, I don't know. Too bad I missed it, though you knew him better than I did. That was definitely true. Not only had Cove known Shiloh for a shorter period of time, but he and Shiloh had never quite gotten along. Not that they were enemies, either. Just kids who were only ever together because of the people they both knew. I wonder what Shiloh is up to these days. I don't have any idea. He didn't say much. Oh well. That was everything you had on that news item, so you moved on to the next big update. Of course, we gotta talk about them. Also, you know the mean old neighbors? The ones who would always yell at us? He cringed, recalling those particular memories of back in the day was not pleasant, even for someone as nostalgic as him. Yeah. They're not coming. They didn't rent the condo this summer. Cove's jaw dropped. You didn't blame him. The elderly couple had been an institution for as far back as you could remember, long predating Cove's arrival. Even now, as a teenager, you found your neck pricking as you walked by their condo, half expecting a scolding for breathing the wrong way in the vicinity of their vacation home. It was strange to think of that coming to an end. Wow. Cove blinked, clearly struggling with the idea in the same way you had. I didn't see that coming. People being gone, people coming back. It feels like I've missed a lot. This has been a busy summer already. Well, You haven't missed the fireflies. They haven't shown up yet. Well, that's something. And we'd better not get left behind. There's still stuff to do. You nodded. As soon as you'd left your house, Cove bent down to let you climb back onto his back for the last part of the journey. Heck yes. It seemed that no sooner had the night begun than it was already at an end, and the dawn of the new day was soon upon you. I think we're going to leave it on that note, as it is a brand new day here in Sunset Bird of this beautiful summer time, fun time. Yeah. Anyways, I hope you really enjoyed this episode. More to come, obviously. If you liked it, please give me one of those thumbs up and leave a comment down below on how you're feeling about this part. Cove is such a sweetheart and such a cutie pie. Like, gosh. I'm really excited to see what's gonna happen the further along we get. See if we can get a little bit of a budding romance. We'll see, I don't know. If you want to keep seeing more, hit that subscribe button. And as always, I appreciate you guys. Bye!